Well, Prepper. Looks like we were right. It's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Yes, you can handle the truth, folks. They can't wait to say what I titled this video. President Trump arrested. Folks, right now, the left-wing media, left-wing big tech, left-wing politicians are gloating over the fact that the FBI has now raided President Trump, his Mar-a-Lago estate, his home. Now, the other day, FBI Director Christopher Wray was testifying in the Senate, the U.S. Senate, and he had to get up and leave. And he sure looked like he was in a good mood when he should have been scared, right? Because he was being grilled over the inconsistencies and the risk and threat that the FBI poses to our great constitutional republic. I'm sure that he was leaving and he was heading to a discussion about what has now happened. This is not an instant thing. This isn't a small thing. This is the first time in American history that a president, a former president, has had his private estate, his life interfered with by the Federal Bureau of Investigation in a very public way. This is, folks, direct evidence, prima facie evidence of a political hack job by a current and, shall we say, offensive, and it is very offensive, Justice Department, the Attorney General's office, the Department of Justice, and yes, the Biden administration, the Biden regime. This is all coordinated, and there's a lot more to this than you would expect, right? I'm doing one video because I want to cover a lot of territory. You can go anywhere you want if you would just want some news and reporting. But if you want some insights, some behind the scenes take, right? That's why you're at the Prepared Minds, because you want to know more than just what a news headline is. You want to know more. And so we give you some commentary. We give you satire, right? But we don't violate terms of service or community guidelines. We don't encourage violence. Though if you go on any left-wing site, they are wanting blood, folks. They want Trump's head, literally, kind of like Kathy Griffin holding up, right, the president's bloodied head. They have hated him from the beginning, and there's a reason they've done this, and we're going to get into it. But let me just say right off the front, the reason they're doing this is, number one, the appearance of impropriety. That is, to pretend that President Trump is the subject of an investigation, a criminal investigation, requiring a raid and guarding his home with FBI agents armed with automatic weaponry, military-grade weaponry. They're scared. The left is incredibly scared, and they're doing this. And the mainstream media, social media, political leftists, they are cheering, folks. They want President Trump to be arrested. They want it. They can't have it yet. Now, understand this, folks, right? Understand this. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. They raid his home, they lock it down, and they broke into his safe. And we'll talk more about that as well. Now, as expected, I want to touch on this briefly. Hillary Clinton. You're like, Hillary, what does Hillary have to do with President Trump? Well, she wants to mock the President of the United States. Folks, they have had 18 months of Joe Biden, plus they had 4 years of the Trump presidency to find any criminal behavior, and they did not. That's 5.5 years of investigating, searching, digging, trying to plant evidence on him, try and put him in situations where they could accuse him of committing a crime, and they've had nothing. They had special investigation, the Mueller investigation, right? It was neutral my fanny. That was a Democrat hack to try and make the president look bad. To this point, only 2 other presidents have been impeached. President Johnson after Lincoln's assassination, and President Clinton for being an outright phony fraud and liar. But President Trump, he's had 2 impeachments. And both of them were highly political in nature and highly dubious as to their legality because of all the shenanigans. But Hillary, folks, has come out and flaunted, essentially, her lawlessness. And what does she do? Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, she has gotten to what? Well, she got to delete and do an acid wash of 33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress for what she did. Her people smashed their phones to bits with hammers. She had a highly secure, I'm sorry, it was insecure, but a very secret, top level as Secretary of State server in her basement that was unsecured and was hacked by the Chinese. Against the law, felony offense. She did not get investigated. She was not arrested. She was lawless, folks. Hillary Clinton, lawless, right? Famous for flaunting the law, deleting evidence, abusing the legal system, and getting away with it, right? She should have been arrested. She should have. Right? It's unbelievable. Yeah, everyone wants to get in on the fun on this, folks. They want to arrest President Trump. And it's very predictable that Republicans like Mitch McConnell give their beta male, weak-ass response to what has happened. Very predictable. Mitch McConnell hasn't said anything. Where are you? Where's the leadership? It's incredible, folks. Now, yeah, Washington, D.C., shall we say, petititions or politicians with the other P attached to it, they, folks, are happy. They're willing. They want to see Trump go away. He is not the friend of the political establishment or the deep state, the World Economic Forum. No, he's not. He's a nationalist. And if this doesn't prove it, then nothing will. You're going to believe that Trump is going to allow his reputation to be smeared the rest of his life, his family's reputation, and say he's just part of the scheme? I mean, you can make that argument, and I entertain it often because I want to be right as can be, folks, because it has hit the fan, right? Now, while politicians are weak, and all up to this point for the last week, Trump has been endorsing Republicans and saying, America first, make America great again. Marge Taylor Greene, right? Where are you and what are you saying? Matt Gaetz, where are you and what are you saying? Oh, they tried framing Matt Gaetz, if you remember, tried blackmailing him, extorting money out of him. The left is insane with their hatred, folks, right? A CNN reporter ended her broadcast out of Mar-a-Lago, Trump's place. But before she could sign off, an American with a fake news is CNN sign and got in the background. The people showed up, folks. They're concerned. They're worried. They're pissed off that this is a political hack job. And make no mistake, that's exactly what it is, folks. It's a political hack job. Pundits are shrieking in delight that the FBI has been called in, while they refused, folks, with James Comey as the director, refused to arrest Hillary, claimed they did an investigation, James Comey admitted to the American public that she committed crimes and then did nothing to prosecute her. Serious crimes, folks, that land other people in prison. National security mistakes, these cost lives, Hillary did. No punishment. It is a 2-tiered justice system, folks. Rules for Democrats and rhino sellouts and super wealthy people, while the enemies, their enemies, get put down. Now, this channel, folks, is protected because we're small. If I had 1 million subscribers and I was out here railing against the establishment in Washington, D.C., the swamp, right, they would focus on us a little more. But they're shadow banning us, keeping us small, allowing you and me to bitch and gripe, moan, complain, and tell what we consider to be the facts under the guise of it being political satire, which it is. But we're not allowed to get bigger. That's why they're shadow banning us. They're listening. They want to see what our take is. They want to take information about me and you and just kind of think about it and go, yeah, the American people aren't buying our story. The Patriot side anyways. Or, we sure fooled them. We got them looking over there when the real problem is over there. Ha ha. That's why we stay awake, folks. That's why your support of the Prepared Mind Network is critical, so that we can continue day after day, hour after hour to stay on top of what's happening, so you know our SHTF status. And this is a big deal, folks. They want to arrest President Trump. Right? They want to. The people are ready and pissed off, and they're waiting. They're waiting, folks. Now, this is incredible. Eric Trump says that Donald Trump, President Trump's safe, his safe in his home was cracked open by the FBI. That's right, folks. They went there prepared to crack his safe. Safe cracking team on the spot, right? Well, the safe was reportedly by Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son, was empty. Bam! Right? Take that, face slap to Merrick Garland, Attorney General, face slap to Christopher Wray and all of his droogies like Ruby Rod Rosenstein and Peter Strzok, the evil elf, and everyone else in the Department of Justice, the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and the Biden White House. Face slap. Because they planned all of this, folks. They planned it. They kept as quiet as they could. But at the last minute, of course, they alerted CNN and the media so they could be there, cameras rolling. Now, question I have is, was Trump alerted by his Department of Justice allies, people that are inside that still respect and appreciate Donald Trump, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and you and me, the American people? Or was Trump wise to the FBI and their means and methods, techniques, policies, and procedures, and knew that this was going to happen? Or could it be both? He both suspected this was going to happen at some point, and he had allies and ears to the ground and saw this coming. Remember, folks, they have arrested Roger Stone and had CNN there. They ambushed Peter Navarro at an airport to arrest him. They arrested General Flynn and tried putting him in prison the rest of his life over a frame. He was framed by the FBI. Folks, we're just little people, you and I. I can't withstand the force and the pressure that could be brought to bear on me with a bunch of bullshit, bogus charges and made up fabricated crap, right? I can't be arrested, folks, because I would never, ever, ever surface again, right? James, Jimmy could be out there, or Roger could be out there. But the John, he could just disappear. We need to understand this, folks. We need to keep on top of this. We need to stay alert to what they're doing to this country. We truly need to stay alert to what they're doing to this country. Right? The FBI, in their Stasi, KGB, Gestapo techniques, swooped into President Trump's house. They grabbed boxes, whatever they could, without knowing what's in them or even going through them. They're just going to take everything they can so they can go put it in a truck, and the truck was there, and then go through it, folks, and find a crime, manufacture a crime, make stuff up the same way the January 6th committee edited out the things Trump said about being peaceful and obeying the law and not causing trouble on January 6th, and just taking excerpts from speeches and making it sound like the Republicans were calling for violence on January 6th. Folks, all politicians say, we're here to fight for you, right? But they mean it in a political sense, and it is free speech. But Trump isn't being afforded that. He's being painted as a criminal. And it's very important to understand why they are doing, at the very least, what they're doing. They need to paint him as a criminal. It will backfire. The American people know better. But it will rally and rile up the Democrats. And that's what they're trying to do. Get them all excited. They got Trump against the ropes. They're going to put him in jail. They're going to arrest him. They want to arrest President Trump. This is the starting move, folks. This is the Lexington and Concord moment for Trump. They've been harassing, obstructing, harassing, the same way the British did to the American colonists by blockading, harassing, making false charges, everything against the American colonists. And ultimately, it resulted in a showdown, an epic showdown that started the literal shooting. Now, by shooting today, I refer to the legal battles, shooting accusations back and forth, a crime, right? What they want to do, folks, is make sure Trump cannot run in 2024. That is the objective behind this, or worse, and we'll talk about the worse. The objective is to paint him as an insurrectionist, to manufacture a crime, to plant information, I bet, either paper or electronic, and say, we found this. Trump is a criminal, right? And they'll take that information to a grand jury, a left-wing partisan grand jury in Washington, D.C., where they'll have no problem stacking this grand jury to find enough evidence to support an indictment, an arrest, a very public arrest. Trump, I am going to say better, but I also believe he already has a legal team ready to fight this. PR ready to fight this. Right? Public statements. It's going to get nasty, folks. We knew it was going to get nasty. There's no doubt it's going to be nasty. But they need to manufacture a real crime and say it completely eliminates Trump's ability to run as a political candidate. This is a political hack job, folks. It's a complete political hack. But there's something very important also to look at this. And again, folks, experts are weighing in, and you and I, as far as I'm concerned, are political science experts based on our experience watching this world going all the way back to the beginning of the Clinton administration in 1992. We knew what was coming, folks. We knew it. 30 years ago, you could see this shit happening. And it has gotten progressively worse and worse and worse and worse. Now, one particular expert, Bernie Kerik, says, quote, if the FBI raid will not stop Donald Trump, their next step will be assassination. That's right, folks. The big A word. We already know that 40% of young Democrats think political assassination is an acceptable form, an acceptable action to take in today's political climate for their desire to have a socialist, communist, fascist superstate called the United States government or the U.S. They're accepting of that, folks. And we don't have to look too far back in history to see that that was carried out with John F. Kennedy. The involvement of the CIA, the Secret Service, the Dallas Police Department, the Mafia, and also Cuban exiles. The evidence is there to support that there was a lot of collusion, folks. Some dare say conspiracy. And they had a bullshit blue ribbon panel called the Warren Commission, which created the Warren Report, which created the magic bullet theory, which is in itself an incredible escape from reality, claiming that one bullet created 7 wounds, fell out on a stretcher, and was pristine. Not to mention all of the acrobatics this bullet had to do in order to hit the president and Governor Conley the way it did. But they need to stop President Trump. And if they can't, we need to be aware that the next step would be an assassination. And there is no shortage of people that we can now point to that would be willing to perform this. From the lowliest mind-controlled idiot from some MK Ultra program that's still operating, folks. They're still operating. Mind control, mind-numbed idiots. We've seen them for well over a decade now, out there committing mass shootings. And when you see them in an interview, their eyes are wide. They're whacked out of their minds. We have no compunction. We understand that that's possible. And that whoever, folks, does the killing isn't necessarily this wide-eyed lunatic who has been just created, brainwashed, propagandized, and indoctrinated to hate President Trump to that level. Or we could have, as in the case of Representative Matt Gaetz, who was the frame the extortion attempt by a former FBI agent, right? So we could have former government agents that could be involved in this. But there will be a patsy, folks. You bet. If they attempt an assassination, whether he's successful or not, there's going to be attempts at this. Even if Trump, right, is put in an orange jumpsuit and perp walked, they still could, shall we say, Jeffrey Epstein him. They're going to want to do that, folks. They're going to need those pictures. And if it doesn't stick, if they can't arrest him and create and fabricate enough information to play a bullshit game with the American people, they just might assassinate him. Understand, folks, it has hit the fan. You're seeing things that you've never seen before. And you're getting great insights here on this channel because you guys are behind the scenes working with me to dig up information and create a dialogue whereby we can all discuss what's going on and understand the potentials, the ramifications, the fallout, and the SHTF that's sure to come. Now, I want to say before I'm completely finished, I've been suffering from allergies. Last year, I had a lot of sneezing going on. This year, I've got scratchy throat, and I want to apologize for having throat lozenges, cough drops. And then every now and then I crunch on one. and I've been informed that it's annoying. I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm not messing with anybody. It's either cough drops or I cough. Right. But everything else is fine. Just, the usual health issues. But it is bad allergies in the South. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather have allergies in the South than tyranny and live in the North or in California or in any other, right, tyrannical state. Folks, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get interesting. It's going to get nasty. Be on your guard, both physically and mentally. Understand, folks, me and you, we're just peons. We're nobody. We're just little people, very small. The government doesn't have to worry about us. They do have to worry about someone who can bring the American people together, and Donald Trump has been doing that. Love him, like him, indifferent, or hate him. People understand his influence, and they don't like it. His campaigning for America First candidates has demonstrated that voters listen to him and that they support him. While they don't worship him like some kind of demigod, they do support him and they want their country back. Understand that. We want our country back. We want the federal government restrained in shackles, the shackles of the Constitution. We want the government to know the Declaration of Independence is real, organic, living in the hearts and minds of the American people. And we want them to obey us, not some rich billionaire, not some ridiculous bureaucrat or other elected stooges. We want the government to obey us. And they don't want that, folks. And that's what this is all about. Destroying America, our Constitution, our law, our belief systems. Understand, folks, this is where we're at. This is why you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. This is why you have a plan. This is why you watch this show, so you understand what's going on and you get insights, not just the news, but you get beautiful satirical expose, explanation, and perspectives. God bless America. Semper Fi means always faithful. Faithful to God, country, Constitution, and yourself. You know who you are if you're a good person or not. I'll be back this afternoon and we're going to talk about more. I guarantee it. Until then, Semper Fi.